today. My ovaries is retro banging. But some of you believe that the moon is in Scorpio in the 3rd house, I believe, on tropical astrology timeline. And I find myself irritated because when I look around, there's a lot of surface level BS, surface level information, surface level understanding. And then there's a lot of people trying to be in positions of some type of teacher, guru, know-all, others, false priests, false priestesses. And it irritates me because it's just a whole bunch of surface level information being regurgitated, verbatim, plagiarized even, just, in simpler terms, copied. And it's surface level. And this is just making the world go around, and it's very irritating for me. And for those of you, on tropical astrology timeline, which that's another discussion for another day. With the moon, full moon in Scorpio in the 3rd house, it's basically talking about people's perceptions needing to go deeper, people's perceptions, because again, perception is one's reality. And it's just, with Scorpio is that energy it's I don't want to say begging, because Scorpio energy isn't too proud to beg, but it is yearning on a soul level for people to go deeper. And unfortunately, this energy will more than likely be alchemized into more surface level BS, sexual energy, more than likely trying to merge with another surface level individual or people, places, and things, understanding really. But when I bounce over to Vedic astrology, and I've been battling with this decision for a very long time, but with the full moon is in Libra, in the 9th house today, full moon, according to Vedic astrology timeline, which is more in alignment and it's accurate to the stars. Tropical astrology is in alignment with seasons, which we know, humans can manipulate, just like they can simply say, everyone turn your clocks back an hour, and all of a sudden time has changed. Who are you? You're not God to do these things. And this is what tropical astrology is about. But I digress. I'll get into that on another day. And I realized with the full moon in Libra in the 9th house, because I'm on Vedic astrology timeline, which is in alignment with the stars, which is also in alignment with the Most High, the cosmos, creation, that no man can manipulate. It just is. I have made an executive decision, Libra energy, to be that 9th house. I'm making the decision to be the change that I wish and yearn to see. And I battled this decision for some time because for me, it's giving, what's the point? What's the point? For me, I have Saturn in Aquarius, natally in Vedic astrology. And so my hard lesson is in regards to the collective, people, humanity, and being a humanitarian. It's difficult. Saturn brings difficulties in that area. And for me, I've had a very difficult battle fighting this, whether or not I should be that voice. And then if we want to bring it to tropical astrology, I have Saturn in Pisces. And Saturn in Pisces gives off a more, what is the point? What is the point? But all in all, I say all this to say, with this full moon, whether you are on tropical astrology, it's in Scorpio, or you are on Vedic astrology, where it is in Libra in the 9th house. And then, tropical is in Scorpio in the 3rd house. The 3rd and the 9th house are polarity houses. And so what that means is the 3rd house is more, it can be more surface level. It's a multitude of information, but they are more so ideas. The 3rd house is more about ideas, and everybody has an idea, but nobody has 9th house energy, which is facts. Everyone is lacking facts, but everybody has an idea, many ideas. And they do not build upon, they do not go deeper to get higher wisdom, higher knowledge on said idea. And that's what the third house is about. And so with that in mind, if everyone is deriving and living on an idea, which is more than likely surface level, which is more than likely what someone else had said, because again, the third house is in alignment with Gemini, and Gemini is known to be the gossipers. Okay? And gossip is in many different forms. It's not just you talking about somebody. Gossip is literally through the grapevine. I had heard. But what you had heard is not always accurate, or it doesn't have merit. And so with that in mind, the ninth house, which again, Vedic astrology is in the ninth house in Libra. I believe that I'm being called to be that voice of higher knowing. And I don't really want to do it because again, it's deep in my soul. What is the point? You know, it's easier for people to just have their ideas and to copy someone else and to not have a deeper understanding. It's a reflection of themselves, really. People don't have a deep understanding of themselves. People speak on things that they have not experienced. And I understand it. It's just, why put in the work? Why put in the energy? Why put in the time? And again, I'm speaking on Saturn. This is what Saturn is all about. That's time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears to bring forth an energy, a purpose, a mission. But I'm also at a point where I can't, let anybody hold me back. Whether I have viewership or not, whether people are able to understand these concepts, these foreign concepts, these higher concepts rather. I'm not responsible, I suppose, for that. I find myself reading high-level books, esoteric books in regards to astrology and all these other things, and even I'm reading these books and they're difficult. They are very difficult. I can go through a 600 or more page book within 2 days. But with these type of books, it's taken me a very long time to even just get to page 550 because my mind is being expanded. It's like a muscle and it hurts. I have to highlight, I have to look up words, definitions, I have to write things down. I have to then think about it. I have retrograde planets in my personal chart, a lot of them, and so I have to think about it longer and harder than what most people probably would. So I understand why people, choose to take the easier route. I get it. I get why the third house is just like the seventh house. It's superficial, and everybody can join in. Everyone can relate to the third and the seventh house. Relationship, seventh house, basically in brief and surface level terms, and the third house where everybody can communicate, everybody can talk, everyone has their little ideas and things. But when we start talking about opposites, it's a little different. It's a little different there. When we start talking about a higher understanding, your own experiences, and then having to teach that or, exchange that information, it's a little difficult. And then trying to take on the responsibility of someone understanding it after you gave that information out, it's difficult. And so I understand why people rather just be told, rather just believe what they are told, which is also the third house. This is a part of gossip. This is part under the umbrella of gossip, believing what you are told. But did you do your own research? I remember years ago when I first started getting into astrology, into the occult and tarot, there was this girl, and I'll never forget this because it was a very profound lesson for me. It was like one of the lessons that I had to, it was like an initiation kind of lesson. But she was basically calling me a devil worshiper because her mother had told her that astrology and tarot is of the devil. And I understand where this logic comes from because I grew up in the Christian church. Both of my parents who adopted me were pastors. And so I know about that doctrine. I know about that conditioning. I know where it derived from. I know the root cause of that belief. But she was literally coming at me in such an accusatory manner, as if and also with conviction, because of what her mother had told her and taught her. And so I asked her, did you do any research of your own about tarot or astrology, or are you just coming at me in this manner, based off of what your mother has told you? Did you do any research of your own in regards to tarot and astrology? No, because if you did, you would also know that all of these religious doctrines, they do derive from the stars. All of these things derive from astrology. But I digress. I'll never forget that. And this was coming from a girl who is younger than I am, has 2 kids at that time. I don't know what's going on in her life now, but she has 2 kids by 2 different men. And at the time she told me this, I was about like 21. I was probably 22, 23. And she was younger than me. And you have 2 different baby dads, 2 different children, one of which you don't even have custody over. You, as a woman, have to pay child support to a father, to a man, for a child that you lost custody over. But your mother never told you that sleeping out of wedlock and having children out of wedlock, which is in alignment with the doctrine that you tried to crucify me on, okay? You try to crucify me on the very cross that you should be burning on, according to what you believe and what your mother had said. You have 2 children out of wedlock, never been married, 2 different baby daddies, you're having sex, premarital sex, but your mother didn't tell you. And mind you, she has a generational curse in that regard. Your mother was a teenage mother, but she didn't tell you about that. But she gonna tell you with conviction that tarot and astrology is of the devil. That is my point, to take it home with the 3rd house. That's 3rd house energy. That is gossip. That is surface level BS. That is an idea. That is a surface level belief that has not formed. Has not developed, does not have a strong foundation. And that's what the 3rd house gets into. Again, everything in life has a purpose, but it just seems, I guess this would be another level of evolution for me personally. And I'm sure some of you may feel the same as well, when you just look around. It's interesting that she has a butterfly on her shirt. This is a very interesting metamorphosis as I'm speaking about this. I'm pretty sure some of you feel the same way. You're just looking around and you're hearing things, you're seeing things, and you're just so totally disinterested because there has to be more. There has to be more. And for some of you, not everyone has the same purpose to teach and to bring forth, information, knowledge, teach, in other words. But it's just, there just has to be more. And it's just very frustrating that people are not seeking more. It's just frustrating that people, rather reside on the surface. And that's where I struggle. I know how I am. I know how I am. I love information. I love reading. I love knowing. I love teaching. I love bringing things to people's awareness. I even have a past life in this area. In the occult. So this is just who I am on a soul level, but it's just, I'm struggling. Saturn energy, I'm struggling with, I suppose, stepping into my purpose and just doing what I'm supposed to do regardless of the outcome, because I put my whole heart into things. And so I don't want to exert all of this energy, time, effort. I don't want to think about anyone else. If I'm learning something, I just kind of want to be stingy with it and keep it to myself, and I'm being called to share it, and I don't want to, especially if I know no one's going to take heed, no one's going to reflect, no one's going to ultimately change, to transform, to evolve. It's very difficult. I'm going to do it anyway. But this is essentially what this full moon is kind of bringing to my attention, and I guess I'm not very curious as to how this full moon is, what is this full moon bringing to your attention, because for some of you, nothing may be brought to your attention. because of lack of self-consciousness, a lack of awareness. And it's sad to say, you know. But I was thinking about like actually writing out a report for both full moons, excuse me, depending on if you're on Vedic or tropical. But I may presume maybe next month. I'm trying to get my bearings in order. Obviously, I'm having an issue with my throat chakra. My voice is going in and out, but I think it's time for me to really exchange information. And I'm really making this video for myself, so this is something I can reflect back on, you know, maybe a year from now, where I'm, you know, resisting the call, resisting what I know I'm supposed to be doing. And I know a lot of you have noticed me pulling back from tarot and astrology for the past couple of months. I mean, really this whole year. But I have a solar return coming up. My birthday's coming up in June, and so the energy is shifting for me. And I will be swimming in a lot of 12th house, a lot of 8th house. Saturn energy as well. It's getting serious, it's getting real. And I just want to be able to look back on this like, wow, you really didn't want to do this, but look at you and look at you. Anyway, thank you for allowing me to vent, though I was going to vent anyway. But you guys have a great day and happy full moon.